So like till now we have studied about the NMOS, their behavior and their characteristics. So you know there are two types of MOSFET. One is called your N channel and another is called your P channel. So this is about your P channel MOSFET. If you look the overview for the P channel, we need P type of channel. This means what? The substrate should be of N type. So N type substrate is taken, and then in the N type substrate we need source and drain, and that to be of the P type. So P plus dopings are done, source and drain are deposited, and again the same process. The oxide layer over to oxide layer is a metal gate or polysilicon, and over to that is a gate terminal. And keeping on the this working principle, PMOS and NMOS both are a counterpart to each other. This means whatever the concept applied, just the reversal of the terminal voltages or the magnitude or the signs will be there. Like here we need for NMOS we need VGS. So for PMOS we need VSG, or we can look like this minus of VGS. So that will play a real negative voltage. Similarly in NMOS we were looking at VDS. So for PMOS we will look at VSD. So that is nothing but minus of VDS, and then according to the same principle applies for the working. The flow of holes are there and then the flow of current starts. So what is the main difference is the negative but not positive voltage is applied to the gate. Threshold voltage VGS it should be greater than VTP. Now for the PMOS the threshold voltage is given by minus of VTH, okay, or you can say minus VTP, whereas for NMOS it is plus VTN, okay. So this is a major difference. So for the MOSFET to working in the on condition, the condition was your VGS should be greater than VTN. But when it is PMOS, we will say VSG should be greater than magnitude of VTP. Fine. Or in other words, we will say that VGS should be less than magnitude of VTP. Okay, they both are equivalent. These two. So what here VGS should be, that is shown here. Okay, so they have shown with the magnitude. So when we reverse, the minus sign will come here and then you can take the magnitude. So this relation will hold true then. And what about the process constants are mu p, mu and mu ox will be replaced by mu p c ox and then mu p c ox. The rest essentially remains the same, but only the reverse is the polarity part. Fine. So this is your PMOS, and then we will recall the IV characteristics. So for the there were in the MOSFET there were three regions. One was your cutoff. When the cutoff exists, when VGS is less than VT, VT means here since we are talking about N channel, for the threshold we have not written the suffix, so better you write the suffix VTN. So this means for the NMOS VGS is less than VTN. This means it is in cutoff mode. In the cutoff mode, no current will flow, so ID is 0. Second comes when VGS is greater than or equal to VTN, then what happens? The MOSFET will be in the on condition. Then once it is in on condition, then we'll go for the second check, that is called your VDS check. So when we go for the VDS check, if it is the VDS is such that it is less than VGS minus VTN, this means it is showing linear operation. So effectively I will say it is a linear mode. Okay. And when it is in the linear mode, the equation will be half mu n Cox W by L 2 VGS minus VT VDS minus VDS square. This also can be written as mu n Cox W by L in the bracket VGS minus VTH into VDS minus half VDS square, which we have seen in the derivation part. These are the same. So this is for the linear mode, or sometime it is also called triode mode, or it can be also called as a ohmic region. Ohmic region means where Ohm's law is obeyed. And why Ohm's law? Because when VDS is very small, then this ID by VD will give me a finite value, and B by I is nothing but your resistance. In the third condition, again VGS is greater than or equal to VTN, so it is on condition. And what about VDS? So VDS in this case it is greater than or equal to VGS minus VTN. So this is showing nothing but about the saturation. So I can say effectively this is a saturation mode. And in the saturation mode, what is the equation? Half mu n Cox W by L VGS minus VTH. And if channel length modulation is there, then 1 plus lambda VDS will come in the picture. Okay, and if lambda is 0, it will retain the same constant current expression. And this was your symbol. This is called your fourth terminal. Fourth terminal is called your body. Sometimes it's called body, or it is also known as bulk, or it is also said as substrate connection. Sometimes substrate is identified by body, but in fabrication, the body is separately made as a single terminal. Okay, so that's why many symbols, body and substrate, both are having the same same connections. So where will be VGS? VGS will be input side plus minus VGS. This is VSB and this is VTS. So this was for N channel. Now if we go for the P channel analysis, again P channel analysis, if VGS is greater than VT, this means what? VT is nothing but VTP. So we'll say VGS is greater than VTP minus mod of VTP, or we can say it as a VSG is less than magnitude of VTP. Okay. So when this relation solves, it is in the cutoff mode. In the second, this shows it is a on condition. So if you recall for the NMOS, it was VDS is less than VGS minus VTH, but here VDS is greater than VGS minus VTH. So here this symbol notation change. This can be also written as VSD should be less than VSG minus mod of VTP. Okay, this can be also realized in this fashion. Okay, so it shows it is a linear mode. So effectively it is a linear mode. Once it is a linear mode, then it is the same equation, only the suffix value will change, mu p VGS minus VTH, and everything remains the same. So whenever you use the equation, that time be clear that whether you are using the concept of symmetric device, means whether you are interchanging, this was your NMOS, this was your drain, this is your source, this is gate. And if it is a PMOS, so this is gate, this is source, and this is drain, because in NMOS it will flow, current will flow like this. For PMOS it will flow like this. This means D is replaced by S and S is replaced by D. And for this, behind this, the concept is it is a symmetrical device. Thinking of it is a symmetrical device, this is the terminals name will be changing. So either using this concept you write the equation, or you reverse the this notations less than or greater than when you compare with NMOS. Similarly, in this case, it is a on condition, and this will show you the saturation condition. Fine. So everywhere sign is replaced, the inversion is there. Earlier it was greater, now it is smaller. So, and according to that, the equation will be half mu s p Cox W by L VGS minus VTH, and this lambda VDS will come whenever there is a lambda factor. And how the notations will be, as I said, the drain is nothing but your source, and the source is nothing but your drain, and gate remains the same place. In the earlier case where the body terminal was there, the body sign was, the arrow was going inward. So if we rotate in an anti-clockwise, the arrow will come in the outward direction. So this shows it is a NMOS. In this case, the arrow is going outward, and then if we go, if we rotate the arrow direction, then we'll go that arrow is moving like this. From here, the arrow is going inside. Sorry, we have to check for source, not for the drain. Arrow direction always you have to go for the source part. So if arrow is moving like this, the arrow will enter into the source like this. So this is nothing but your PMOS. And wherever arrow is there, that will be your source. So this is about your PMOS. Hmm. Now there is a method which is also called as conceptual visualization. It means just looking at the symbols, I can directly say whether it is in saturation or whether it is working in the linear or it is in the cutoff mode. So for the cutoff, for the NMOS to be in cutoff, my VG should be either negative or less than VTH. You can say for PMOS it should be, sorry, for, and if for the cutoff mode, sorry, yes. And similarly, if we go for the PMOS, the opposite will happen. So first we'll check for the NMOS. So in the first symbol, if you see, it is given a polarity of this. So first you identify where is drain, source and gate. Now the arrow is in the downward direction, in the downward terminal. So definitely this part is nothing but your source. So opposite will be drain, the left out will be gate. Once I have identified, now here it is given according to the figure what I can see here, that VDG is nothing but some positive voltage. Fine, VDG is some positive. So now we have to say which region it is. So what I will do, I will write the equation of VDS, because once the region comes, we have to write the VDS equation. So VDS and VGS minus VTH. We have to check which symbol will come here, greater than or lesser than. So we'll say what is your VGD. So since VDG is given, we will derive the equation in terms of VDG. So VDS we can write as VDG minus VGS, no, VSG. So what will happen? This will be your VD minus VG minus VS plus VG. So this VG will cancel out. We are left out with VDS. So we can rewrite in this form. So once we rewrite in this form, so what we can say here, VDS is equals to VDG is some positive value minus VGS. So this means my VGS is, okay, so VDS is positive minus VGS. So this means my VGS, uh, so from here we can say that VDG, well, let us write in terms of VDG. So VDG, yes,
So it should be VSG, not VGS.
where VG, no, for this, this one. Okay, okay, sorry. Yes. No, it's fine. V, acha, here, VSG, sorry, VSG. That's why I was thinking why it is going wrong. So, what we'll get here? Let me erase this one, erase this part. Positive minus VSG. So, that is equals to positive plus VGS. Okay. So, what we, let's say positive is some x value. So, it is x plus VGS. So, what we see here, VDS is VGS plus some X factor. Okay, so VDS is higher than VGS. So once the conclusion comes that VDS is higher than VGS with a X value, so whatever we do, VGS minus VGS will be, definitely VDS will be much more higher. Fine. If we do minus VTH here, so here also we'll write here VDS minus VTH. Fine, to balance the equation. So what will happen? This effective VDS, again we are getting higher VDS, so definitely this symbol will come here. Once this symbol comes here, this means it is working in the saturation region. So I will say this symbol, this graphic, this architecture is working in saturation. Fine. Now we go for the second one. If we go for this one, what we see here, VDG. So VDG is again positive, but this terminal and this terminal, what is the difference between the first and second figure? Here gate is in the lower potential, so a difference is there, but here both the terminals are at the same level. So in one concept it is saying that VDG is positive, but at the same time VD minus VG, VD and VG are at the same value, that is VD is equals to VG is equals to VD, and so VDG is 0. So here you can say that VDG is 0 because they are at the same potential. Okay, let us assume it is at the same potential. Then what happens in this case? So in this case also, my VDS will remain the equation like VDG plus VGS. So this VDG is 0. So we'll write here VGS, VDS. So what will happen? So now if minus of VTH is done here, definitely my VDS will again, this equal to symbol will change to greater than. So again I will say this region is working in, this MOSFET is working in saturation. Fine. Now if we go for the third symbol, the third one. So in the third one, now here VDG is becoming what? Negative. Fine. So here VDG is negative because drain is at the lower potential and G is at the higher potential, and also the plus minus sign is showing that VDG will be like this one. Okay. So VDS was my VGS plus X. Fine. So now this X was your VDG. So here it is going negative. So it is VGS minus some negative value is there. So let's say minus of Y, or say let's say minus of Y. So now if we do minus of VTH, so what is this Y? This Y we don't know. Maybe this Y will be such that VGS minus Y, okay, VGS minus Y. Now if we do minus of VTH, so maybe such that VDS will become very small. Fine. So here this symbol will come here because already we have got a extra factor. This is of minus sign to make the equivalency of VDS equals to VG in terms of VGS, and further to that, if we again decrease the value, so it's not sure that VDS will be high. So in this case my VDS is low. So what this region shows, this shows it is a linear region. So I will say this is a linear region of MOSFET. So this way we identify what are the region of the MOSFET. Similarly it is done for the PMOS case. And here if you see, this VDG is replaced by the symbol of VTH. Why it is done? We know VDS is equals to VGS plus VDG. Fine. So VGS equals to VG minus VH plus VD minus VG. 1 minute. VDS is equals to VDG minus VSG. So we can write here as VDG minus V plus VGS. So we can say here VDS is equals to VGS plus VDG, and if we equate with the equation of VGS minus VTH, what does this shows? That VDG is nothing but minus of VTH. Okay. So you can say or VTH is equals to minus of VDG. So that is shown here. Fine. Similarly is the case for the PMOS. So this is just looking at the symbol also we can identify the region of the MOSFETs. Now coming to the IV curve, this will be the IV curve. Okay, we have seen this curve. And for the PMOS, what will happen? The quadrant will change from the first, it will go to the third quadrant because ID will become negative, and for the negative VDS value, it will show the curve. Now comes the CMOS. What is CMOS? CMOS is your complementary MOS. Complementary, what are the complementary means? There were only two types of MOSFET, N and P. The complementary means combination of the two MOSFETs, and since P and both are an complementary MOS or CMOS in the short form. So it implies the transistor of the both the polarities. However, there is a problem that it is more difficult to fabricate, but the advantage is it's more powerful and flexible, and and it is more prevalent than using single NMOS or single BMOS. Means even now also we can realize any function using NMOS and PMOS also, but then also compared to single use, the complementary MOS of use is more preferred because of various advantages. So coming to the fabrication pass, we will not use separately NMOS and PMOS and then connect and then realize the function. Rather, the fabrication of CMOS done is separately, and both the structures are fabricated within the same substrate. So how it is done? In nature, p-type substrate is abundant available. So p-type substrate is taken. Now we know in the p-type substrate, it is easy to fabricate NMOS just by doping N plus region. So two N plus regions are doped, and then from here source and drain are taken out, and then gate terminal is taken out. So this part is nothing but your NMOS. Now for the construction of PMOS, we need N type of substrate. So here N type of substrate, how we can take? So here we do anvil. Anvil means lot of N type materials are doped here. So we create an anvil here, and in the anvil we dope P plus regions, and from there we take out source and drain region and the gate region. So this consists of your PMOS device. Fine. So this is called a well technology also. And since NMOS and PMOS, this is your, let's say PMOS and this is your NMOS, so we cannot sort together because they have different different region of operations depending upon their bias voltages. So we cannot directly sort. Rather, in sorting, we create a insulator in between, that is called your thick oxide SiO2 layer. Okay, so that is created in between. Now these two SiO2 layers are there. Like suppose another CMOS architecture we need, another device we need of CMOS. So here one silicon oxide, again fabrication is done. Here also we can do again one more fabrication. So these two SiO2 layers are actually separating the devices. So this is your CMOS architecture. Now the question comes, okay, why we are going for CMOS? What is the problem with the single MOS? Why we cannot realize the function using single MOS? So let's say since we are working in the digital only two logic values are defined, that is 0 and 1s, where 0 means nothing but your ground connection, or if any negative polarity negative voltage, and 1 means nothing but the supply. So this means if we have to work with logic 0 and 1, what should be the type of input? The input should be also of digital type, and we are giving 0s and 1s. So if I have to charge this capacitor in the capacitor, so I need some supply. So I will say that in the input it is a PMOS. I have applied a zero potential, and for PMOS we know we need the negative voltage. This means zero potential will definitely make it on. So we assume that zero potential will make the switch the on condition of PMOS, and the potential one will make the on condition of NMOS. Fine. So once it is on, the VDD will, the whatever charge here, that will come here and it will charge the capacitor. Similarly, if NMOS is used, VDD voltage is used, again it will be in the on condition, and the charge will come and it will charge the capacitor. So both are doing the charging case. So whether any difference is there, so this means we can also use, for the capacitor charging we can use PMOS also, and for the capacitor charging we can also use NMOS also. From the picture it says. So we'll go with the NMOS. So what happens to charge? So how much the CL should charge? Ideally, the ideal requirement, it should charge to the complete VDD. Up to VDD it should charge. Okay, whatever the full potential we want to use efficient, we want to make our device efficient. So we want all the charges should be transferred to the capacitor. So if we see the working of this one, we need VGS should be greater than equal to VTN. The necessary condition is this one, and here the necessary condition is VSG should be greater than equal to mod of VTP. Okay, or you can say VGS should be less than equal to VTP. So here what is VGS? VG minus VS should be greater than or equal to VTH. So what is VG here? The VG is nothing but your VDD. What is VS here? VS is nothing but, just for the NMOS, the current always flows from drain to source. This means my drain will be at higher potential and source will be at lower potential. So where is the source? The source, the current is flowing like in this direction, the higher supply is given. The drain supply is always provided the higher supply. So definitely it is drain and this is source. So Vs is nothing but your, let's say this terminal is V out. So VDD minus V out should be greater than equal to VTH. Right? This means V out should be less than equals to VDD minus VTH. So what is the range of V out? So it ranges from, so V out maximum, what is the maximum value? VDD minus VTH, or the V out should be less than VDD minus VTH. So how much charging is done here? Till VDD minus VTH. If we violate this equation, what will happen? The MOSFET will go in the off condition. If violates, the MOSFET will go in the off condition. So this means for this particular architecture, for the NMOS architecture, we can go V out up to only VDD minus VTH. This means full swing is not provided by the NMOS. In the V out, we are getting a minus factor of VTH value. So, so this is not giving the full swing. Okay. But with this is not case with the PMOS architecture. So that's why in the pull-up network, we go for the only PMOS architecture. So in the pull-up network means pull up. Whatever is there in the output, you pull up to certain value. So that value is nothing but the supply. So that's why in the pull-up network, we go for the PMOS architecture. Fine. Now we go for the pull-down network analysis. Similarly, in the pull-down network analysis, when again we will use that VGS concept, you will see here that it is completely discharging to zero if it is a NMOS, but for PMOS it will get a threshold voltage drop. A threshold voltage drop will be retained here. Due to this, it is not completely discharged. So that's why a full swing of zero is not coming here. So for the pull down network, we go for the NMOS. So this means for pull up network, we select PMOS, and for the pull down network, we select NMOS. And some question is there or just wait a while. No questions. Okay, so this was your pull up and pull down. Now you think, suppose this is the case, like signal A is there, B is there, and some VDD is there. So we all know for the NMOS, here is some VDD minus VT drop. Again, this one is transferred here. So how much drop will be here? VDD minus VT. Again, minus VT will come here. So if we do a series connection of NMOS in the pull-up network, what will happen? A series of drop will be there, and my CMOS output logic will be degraded as we do more number of connections in a series fashion in the cascade type. Cascode, no, sorry, cascode type. So from here we got the conclusion that for the pull-up network we will use PMOS, and for the pull-down network we will go for the NMOS designs. So why we are doing these things? These things we are doing because we are worried about the signal strength. Fine. So what is signal strength? The strength of a signal will say that how much it approximates to the ideal voltage. Ideal voltage can be 0 or 1. So how approximately it approaches to the ideal values, that shows the strength of a signal. And what are those? That is our VDD and ground. VDD is said to be as strongest one and ground is said to be as strongest 0. Okay. The word strongest is used here because though VDD minus VTN we have reached, and if suppose VDD is 10 volt and VTN is 0.5 volt, so this is nothing but 9.5 volt. So we say this is also equivalent to logic 1. But what happens? This logic 1, 9.5 is actually not accurate 10 volt, but this is approximately or approaching 10 volt. So we say this is nothing but weak 1. Like 10 volt is my full swing, and if I achieve 9.1 or from we say 9 to 10 volt in between. So we say this is a weak one, means it is not a strong one, weak one. But if I achieve 10 volt by 10 volt only, then we say it is a strong one. So weak and strong keywords are used in this manner. For the digital case, weak means it is nearby to the ideal value, and strong means it has achieved the ideal value. So we have seen that NMOS transistor pass a strong 0, but degraded weak one by VTN drop, and PMOS transistor pass strong 1, but it degraded a weak 0, means a VTP drop we are seen here. So that was the case of weak and strong points. So therefore, NMOS transistor are best solution for the pull down network, and similarly counterpart PMOS will be best for the pull up network. So using this concept, the CMOS architectures are realized. Okay, so this is your CMOS architecture where if any logic function has to be implemented, so I will classify in two parts. One is called your pull-up network and the pull-down network. Since ground, we are always, when we do analysis, it is our tendency that we give supply to the upper and we give ground to the lower part. So lower part is provided with the ground, upper part is provided with the VDD. Now since it is a CMOS, definitely a path will be there from the NMOS to PMOS. So this is your that path through a wire, and then pull-up network will consist of a number of connections of PMOS, and pull-down network will consist of a number of transistors of NMOS type. And this pull-up network and pull-down network are logically dual logic networks. Okay, whatever will be there in pull-down, that will be complement will be there existing in the pull-up network. Okay, so this can be think of like a De Morgan's law. If you remember the De Morgan's law, it said A plus B bar is equals to A bar plus B bar. So it is opposite fashion. This, sorry, A plus B bar equals to A bar into B bar. So what is happening? This plus sign is changing with the dot product. If I write A dot B complement, that will be equals to A bar plus B bar. So this dot is changing to plus. So similarly, the same case happens here in the pull-down network. If some dot product are realized, then in the pull-up network that will be realized using OR type function. Like AND will change with OR will change with AND. So that's why it is so said a duality is happening there. Fine. So how many still, what is the time? So okay. So we'll stop here. Then this CMOS realizations we'll see in the next class. Okay, hope you must have done these realizations in your previous any of the course. So once again, this will cover in next class, and I don't think that will take more than 10 minutes.